Welcome to this week's episode of Kidlet 6. If you're new to Kidlet 6, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're looking for any extra book recommendations, you can always go back and watch other episodes of Kidlet 6. Each week we get to spend 6 minutes together celebrating book birthdays, connecting with authors, and discovering lots of great books. Today we have some great author recommendations, book birthdays to celebrate, and a fun lightning round of books. As a reminder, all the books mentioned are listed down in those notes below, so if you hear about a book that sounds interesting, you can look down there and get all the details. Now, let's get started.
Hey everyone, I'm Amanda Rawson Hill. I am the author of the forthcoming The Hope of Elephants, which is a verse novel about a girl whose dad has frequent cancers. And when she turns 12, she finds out that it's because he has a genetic mutation, and she has a 50% chance of inheriting the same mutation and has to decide if she wants to find out whether she has it or not. And today I'm going to recommend 3 verse novels to you that I have loved this year. So the first one is Golden Girl by Reem Farooqi. And it's about a girl who is dealing with compulsive stealing, and her dad is also kind of stuck overseas. The next one I'm going to recommend to you is Res Dogs. This is the first children's book I've seen that really addresses the pandemic. It's about a girl who gets stuck with her grandparents when everything shuts down on the reservation. And so she's there to help them, which is good, and she's also there when a dog adopts her. And the last book I want to recommend is Worst Case Colin by Rebecca Caprara, which is about a boy who, after his mother dies, his father becomes a hoarder. And it's really touching and wonderful. So, happy reading!
The day a book first comes out is called its publication date, but it can be a lot more fun to call it its book birthday, so we're going to go with that. Let's get ready to celebrate a few of this week's book birthdays. First up is The Girl in White. Mallory hasn't quite adjusted to living in her new town, and that could be because the town is obsessed with keeping their reputation with being the most haunted place to visit. On top of that, she's been having nightmares that are making it hard to sleep, and she feels like she's being watched. Maybe all the ghost stories she's been hearing have some truth to them. Next up is The Hope of Elephants, and you got to hear all about this book from the author, but now we also get to celebrate the book birthday for this book. Next up is The Other Side of the River. Petra and her family have made it across the river into America. They escaped the Mexican Revolution, and in this sequel you get to read as Petra and her family build their new life. They leave the smallpox refugee camp they're at and head to San Antonio to build their new life. And for the first time in her life, Petra is going to get the opportunity to learn how to read and write. Next up is Ravenfall. One magical inn, 2 kids with superpowers, and an ancient Celtic creature trying to destroy their world before Halloween night. Will they be able to fight back and save their world? Now, the best way to celebrate a book birthday is actually by reading the book. So head to your local library or your nearest bookstore and pick up your copy of these books today.
Hi, I'm CHRISTIANA DOUCETTE. I'm a poet and author, and you can find me on TikTok at the same name, where I review middle grade books and picture books. Let's start this lightning round. First off, Beyond Me. This follows 11-year-old Maya in 2011 as the Japanese earthquake hits. You can see the earthquake on the page. Check it out. Next up, Alias Anna. Jana changes her name to Anna to hide her Jewish identity during World War II in Ukraine and must rely on her musical ability to provide for herself and her sister. The Places We Sleep. Set during September 11th, this follows Abby, who loses her aunt in the Twin Towers, and then her father is deployed and is dealing with all of that. Samira Surfs. This follows a Rohingya refugee as she moves from a place of persecution to power and from a place of isolation to sisterhood. Next up I have Amber and Clay. This is set in ancient Greece and follows Raskus, a Greek slave, as he learns who he is and steps into a place of power. You'll meet Socrates and some of the Greek gods, and it's a super interesting story. Next up I have The Seventh Raven. When Robin and his 6 brothers are changed into ravens by a curse, they must rely on their youngest sister, even though they've never met her. So that's just 6 novel and verse, and there are so many more. You can check out my website. I have a whole list of a ton of middle grade novel and verse because it's my favorite genre. Hope you enjoy some of these. Let us know about which ones you enjoyed most.
My plants absolutely languish if I forget to water them for a couple of weeks. Do you think you can create your own sentence using the word languish? Try creating your own sentence with the word languish, and then you can share it with us on social media or comment down below with your sentence. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Kidlit 6. We hope you found lots of great books to add to your reading wish list. We'll see you again next week with more book recommendations, and in the meantime, happy reading!